Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Micah and this is for the stitch. What's the stitch? So let's get started. It's our second video. This is episode 2 and I'm excited to see you guys back with me once again. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with a couple of reviews. First I'm gonna talk about needles and hooks. So how many of you have a stash full of needles and hooks? Yeah, me too. So, we're going to talk about my needles and some hooks. I recently discovered Furrows Crochet, and I've been seeing them a lot on my Instagram and also on my Threads account. And so I bought a couple of, well, I bought one that I got shipped in already, but I bought a couple of furrows and I'm gonna open it because I haven't used them yet. So here's the box. I already started to open it, and I bought this streamline. Well, at least it says streamline on here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, it says streamline. It's from Furrows. Coming in this cute little box. And I think I got the Gemini one. Ooh, this is pretty. Alright, so this is the hook, and it's supposed to be ergonomic. I think I should pronounce that correctly. So the hook is white with the gold glitter. This is a G hook, so it's a 4mm. While I'm here, I might go ahead and test it out, or I might post it on episode 3. Let me see. I do have a project that I'm doing right now. So I do want to do this because I want to compare the two. So I'm going to show you the other one I'm working on. So I'm working on this cardigan, and I think I showed this on episode 1. Maybe I didn't. And it's a little bit of lace work and whatnot. You can see I did the puff stitch here. And then the other rows is a single crochet and then 2 double crochet in the same stitch and then skip 2 and repeat. And so that's what this section is here. Oh, you guys can see that really good. And then the next section is the puff stitch. So the puff stitch with the holes here. Alright. So this one I'm making, and right now I'm using a wooden hook by Lantern Moon. And you can see there's a big difference between the two, right? I actually like the Lantern Moon crochet hook. It does have like a little a dip, I'll call it a dip for your thumb. But the way I hold my needles, my hook, I rarely have my thumb sitting there. And then when I first started crocheting, I normally use the boy crochet hooks. I don't think I have my 4 in here. But this is an F hook. I mean, boy is pretty standard if you go to the local craft store. But it is metal. And again, it also has a little crease here. I want to say these are the same height. They are. But the position of the dip, I'm calling the dip, is not in the same spot. I don't know if you guys can see that. So on the boy is here, and then on the Lantern Moon is all of this. So there's a little bit of a difference between the two. As far as thickness of the two, if I'm too close to the camera, of the two hooks, it appears the same. I don't know, but I learned on these. I really like these. And now I'm about to try this one. So I think this one might be a little bit better for my hand, because I used to have a lot of issues with crocheting. If I did it too much, it would cause my hand to hurt. And I've been finding a lot of people have been trying to find different ways to make crochet hooks so that it does not hurt as much. But also depends on how much you're actually crocheting. So yeah, I'm gonna test this out real quick just to see how it feels. The pattern is really easy, so I don't need a the written instructions in order for me to do it for a few seconds. So let's just see. I'm gonna take my stitch marker out of my stitch, and this is actually my stitch marker with the fleur-de-lis on it, and it says 30 stitch, and it opens and closes, so it's perfect for knitters and crocheters. Alright, and those are my website. Okay, so I actually realized that I am out of yarn, so I am going to tie my next skein to this end, and then I can start. That's one thing about crocheting I do not like, is that whenever I play yarn chicken with each ball of yarn and I'm in the middle of a row, I have to tie a knot, and I really don't like that about crocheting. With knitting, it's a lot different to join, but the only thing I see on YouTube to join for crochet is just tying a knot, and I honestly do not like that. So if there's another way to do this, to join another skein into a crochet project in the middle of a row to where it looks clean, please leave a comment in the box below. Okay, so I do like these hooks. This hook. Like I said, it is furrows. It's a size G, 4mm hook. This pattern calls for a 4.25, but I've been using a 4. I was using the Lantern Moon hook, which was fine because, you know, it is what it is. I just need a hook to use. I don't think anybody really makes 4.25, so I went down and need a crochet hook. Again, this hook feels good on my hand. I'm still pretty much holding the same. I always held my crochet hook loosely. But with this, I'm able to kind of rest my hand a little bit on the hook as I'm crocheting, which I think will be beneficial for my hands. Give me until next week, and then I'll give you guys more information about how I really feel about this this new hook that I'm gonna test out. But I don't know, as of right now, I feel like I like it. I think it's great. The color on this one is fun and simple. There's more options on their website. The website is furrowscrochet.com. I also like to add, this is no way in form and being endorsed. I am not getting paid. This is just a free, this is something I'm just doing. So I am not getting paid, okay? Just throwing that out there. So I also knit, and so with knitting, I mainly only use Chigu needles. Chigu needles is universal, pretty much. I think everyone knows who Chaigu is, and I am in love with their hook needles. I have used other needles, but I was not a fan of them, mainly because they were either not sharp enough or the wire, the cord was too flimsy. So I really like my Chaigus. Now these are a size 9. I think this is a 24-inch needle. As you can see, the cord is sturdy, it's straight, it's not flimsy, and these are straight needles. So if you are new to knitting, not straight, these are circulars. These needles are, this is typically used for hats or socks, and of course size will be different for socks and hats, even sweaters, because sweaters are knitting around. Excuse me. So I prefer circulars more than straight needles, because with straight needles, I'm holding them a little uncomfortable. It starts to hurt my hand. It starts to bother my arms and my shoulders. So circular needles, I'm more relaxed. My elbow is to my side, and I'm more comfortable when using circular needles. Again, this is a size 9, and it's a 5.5 millimeter needle. And again, I use circulars for hats, and I mean pretty much everything. So yeah, especially they're really good for like doing scarves or like shawls, because shawls can become really long, depending on the designer. And if you're doing a triangular shawl, you're gonna want to have a circular needle, because it's longer and you don't have to worry about your stitches falling off of your needle. So if you have a straight needle, you run the risk of not having enough needle to the project, or which can also be a problem, because then the stitches can fall off of the needle, and I figure out a way to put them back on, and depending on if it's blades, so using mohair and whatnot, it could be a huge situation. Alright, so let's talk about Chaigu. And I also have the I don't have my other, right? So Chaigu has two different, or circular needles come in two different types, so, or knitting needles in general. So you have the interchangeable needles, and you also have the needles like the one I just showed you that is attached. So I have a set, I bought this years ago, and then it comes with all the different sizes. So this one comes with the size 2 all the way up to a 15. I have no idea what my size 2 needles are. It's probably on a different project. Let's see. And apparently I have 2 size 9s in here. Great. Okay, cool. So this is a size 15, and you twist on the cord here, and then you're able to change the cord or the needle as you need to move it from project to project. And this is a size 3. Same thing. Of course, the screw is going to be a little bit smaller, so you have different size cords as well. And again, I really love this set. I bought this set years ago. I constantly use it, and it also comes with some other goodies. So it comes with a little pouch or a little box, and it comes with the stoppers, as well as the push pins to tighten up. So when I first got Chaigu needles, I didn't know you had to tighten them up, and so I screwed them on by hand. Because I didn't tighten up with the T-pin, it kept untwisting. So if you just purchase any kind of interchangeable needles, make sure you use a tool that comes with it to tighten it up so that your needles doesn't untwist. Again, that was one of the first things I realized when I got them. I was so upset. I was calling the yarn shop. I was like, this isn't right. I want a refund, so on and so forth. And I realized that I wasn't twisting it all the way. Are these pockets? Huh, interesting. I knew that was there, but I wasn't paying much attention. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for my needles and hooks. Again, I highly recommend the Chaidu. I like them because they're sharp and it doesn't split the yarn as much. Not saying it's never going to split yarn, all depends on what kind of yarn you are using, kind of fiber you're using, what brand it is. But I haven't had much issues with splitting yarn. Alright, so that's it for needles and hooks. Hope that information was very informative. And now I want to move on to fibers and accessories and notions. So this is going to be a little more informational type stuff, and a little bit of a feel of what I like, what I don't like, what is really good for what project you're making. So starting off is acrylic. So when I learned to crochet initially, I learned to use on acrylic yarn. At the time, it was fine, it's whatever. I had no idea about the other fibers that are out there, and I had no idea about hand dyed yarn. So when I got the acrylic, I liked it, I guess, per se, but I didn't love crocheting, so I stopped doing it. When I did pick it back up, that's when I discovered hand dyed yarn. And fell completely in love with it. So I will show you what I'm working on right now. This is crocheted. It is acrylic yarn. It's a brand called Ice, and I think I showed this last week. Maybe I didn't. I'm just making a giant granny square. I was testing out the yarn. This yarn actually feels fine. It's not the best acrylic, but it's doable to work with. They also have different fibers that they use. So they do have some superwash merino. I want to say they have like silk or alpaca. I definitely want to say alpaca and cashmere. So I mean, you know, that's fine. They also have cotton yarn that I want to get my hands on to test out, because I am in the South and I do want to test out more cotton yarn. And I'm also trying to push for my own cotton linen blend as well, to be released soon. I do not have a date yet. So there's acrylic, there's superwash merino, which is what I mostly have. Alpaca I want to dive into, as well as silk and cashmere, and of course the cotton and linen. I typically use merino wool for pretty much all my projects. Again, I'm not a huge fan of acrylic unless it's blended with something else. So if I do acrylic, it might be blended with cotton, maybe because I still want that softness, and it still be usable. It'll still be washable for family and friends if I decide to gift an item. So if I was to make a cardigan for my niece or my nephews, then I will give it to them in that acrylic cotton blend. That way parents don't have to worry about, you know, do I wash this, and babies can be allergic to certain things. So it's a little bit simpler to have that acrylic cotton blend in mind. I absolutely love silk. I think it feels absolutely amazing. Again, I'm in the South, so for me in the South, I don't get a real chance to actually use these fibers often. But I have used them in the past when I did not live in the South. So when I was in Virginia Beach or when I was in Seattle, I had opportunities to buy and actually wear them more than I can here. And again, the alpaca was to die for. The silk felt amazing. The cashmere was so soft and so warm. And I just fell in love with it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So usually for those fibers, I'm making pretty much everything except for socks. So like usually shawls or a sweater. I haven't made anything with those fibers as far as like a hat or socks. I feel like it's not durable enough. So yeah. Cotton and linen, oh my god, it's like the perfect fiber in the South. It's definitely breathable, so that's why I like it. I made a sweater with it. the Rocket Tee. It was, I didn't use my yarn, I used someone else's. I believe I used Teeny Button, and she's also a I believe a New Orleans native, but she recently moved, and she has a cotton wool blend actually, and it was 50-50. It was strong because it had the fiber itself is strong, but putting them together made it even stronger. And because it was cotton, it was very, very breathable. And cotton also absorbs, so if you are to sweat, it will absorb the sweat and it won't cause you to get even hotter. I used to wear it often before summer, and right now I have it as a sample, so I haven't been wearing it, unfortunately, but I'm definitely looking forward to having it back so I can actually wear it, and you might actually see me wearing it at DFW. So yeah. Alright, so just to recap, we talked about acrylic yarn, superwash merino, alpaca, cashmere, silk, and cotton and linen. All the great fibers, just to figure out which one you like, which one works for you and in your climate and in your area. If you're traveling, you might give opportunities to use more than the other. But again, all of these fibers are great for any project. Next, we're going to talk about swatching now and gauge. So I generally do not like to take the time to swatch a project. I just don't. Okay, but for some things or for some projects, it is important to do so. So I'm going to show you a sample of one of my swatches. I did a small square, and it's in my jukebox colorway, and I also blocked it. So this is a blocked swatch. I think it might look a little green because it's like the blue and yellow, so it looks green, but it's not green, guys. Alright, so this is the swatch. I could not tell you what the gauge is. I would have to measure it, and I do not recall what size needle I used, but I'm pretty sure I used a 4mm needle. My go-to needle or hook is always 3.75 to 4.5. I normally don't go above that. I use a lot of flagrant weight yarn, and a lot of flagrant weight yarn uses that size. So yeah, I actually like how this one came out. I think it came out really, really good, and I think it blocked that well. And almost like I purposely made stripes, but it's not. This is my colorway, but it is not a self-striping yarn, although it appears to be self-striping in this swatch, because it looks like about every 2 rows it changes color, or every 1.5 row it changes color, roughly. So yeah. So I did so when I started, I did 4 rows of knit right side, knit wrong side, and then I did knit right side, and then on the wrong side I knit 3. Well, slip 1, knit 3, knit 1, 2, 3, knit 4. Knit across, pearl. Where did I knit? Oh my goodness, I knit. That's right, I knit, and then I purled across to the last 5, and then yeah, you see what I did. But I knit every row for this edge, and then for the middle I basically knit one side and I purled the wrong side. So I did a stockinette stitch and a garter frame, basically edging. Alright, so that's what this swatch looks like in my colorway. And then this one, I think I blocked this one, but it's folded now, I guess because of where I had it stored. This is my Experiment 626 swatch. This is actually crocheted. It looks like I did single crochet. I probably started with like 20 or 20 stitches. And then it looks like after I did those rows, I did a border of single crochet. So this is what it looks like. Alright. So again, if you like swatching, let me know. Ask me some questions in the comments box. I will be sure to answer them. Again, gauging is very important, especially when you're doing sweaters. I will sometimes gauge for that, but if I'm using the same designer, I kind of can get that done. I can probably meet gauge using whatever they suggest that I use, or I will go up a size. So I kind of have an even gauge. I'm not a loose knitter. I'm not a tight knitter. So I'm pretty even when it comes to knitting. Now I will say I knit continental, but if I switch to English, I knit loose. So continental, I'm pretty even. English, I knit loose, and especially purl loose on English. So I continental more than anything else. I may only do English when I knit socks, and use this because I'm knitting socks on 9-inch circulars, and it's more comfortable for me to knit English with 9-inch circulars for socks. Last but not least, let's talk about accessories and notions. So everyone knows that you have to have stitch markers no matter which craft you are doing. I actually have these pretty things right here in my shop, and it comes in different colors. You guys see that? It's just acrylic. It just has a fleur-de-lis on there because, you know, I'm from Louisiana and we love our fleur-de-lis. It's very French related, and it says 30 stitch on the bottom. And then this is actually good for knitters and crocheters because the clamps open, so I can hook it on my crochet project or my knit project. And if I keep it closed, I can slip it on my needle. So this baby is perfect for any knit or crochet project. Also in my shop, I have the wooden version. Now for this one, it is for smaller needles, but it's perfect because they are wood, they're light. It just has my, again, the fleur-de-lis with my name on it, and it's also available in my shop as well. My website is fleurdestitch.com. So you can go on there, and if you look on the side of the screen, and then it will say, it should say stitch markers. So you'll find all the stitch markers that I have. And I also have a few of these left. These are my Louisiana themed stitch markers. So this one has a Mardi Gras mask, the shape of Louisiana, and also a fleur-de-lis. And this one is actually where it has a clamps and a loop. So if you look at that, you can clamp it to your knit project, crochet project, or also you can put the loop on your needle. So this does the same thing as this one, except this is separated as far as the clamps and the hoop. This one is 2-in-1. So I really like these though. They are a little bit heavier, but I enjoy them because it is Louisiana themed, and you know, I'm from Louisiana. So well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed episode 2. I will try to keep better up with my posting. So I will be posting every weekend. Now, whether it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you'll have to subscribe to my channel and find out what day is post. You will get a notification. So hit that link and subscribe. Okay, I look forward to you guys coming back, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.